Hey guys, Rob Heldon here. Welcome to this week's Telco Tips video. And this week I just wanted to go through a situation that I pretty much see almost on a daily or weekly basis is clients that are wanting to recontract with their mobile services, and their existing provider has come in and put in an offer, and they've come to me and said, well, look, can you give us an offer as well? And the reason I wanted to do this video is actually kind of a bit of a throwback, I guess, to a meeting that I had about 12 months ago, where I went through basically what we're going to go through here today with a prospective client. Now, he was dealing with one of the business centres here in Perth, and apparently had been for some time, but he asked me to come in and have a look at what we could do as well through a networking organisation that we were both a part of. And so I've gone in and done my regular thing. Look, here's the best offer from 3 or 4 different options that you've got, and let's talk through the pros and cons of each. And he kept focusing in on the offer that I put to him from his existing provider. And I thought I had done something wrong. It's like there's something that I hadn't explained properly. Is there, do you have any questions on that? And he said to me, how are you able to do that price? And how is that possible that you can do it? Because this is what my existing guys have offered me. And he brought out their proposal and showed me. And he said, look, this is what these guys have offered me. How can you do that price? And they can't. Like, how is that even possible? They're the business and you're just a reseller. And I said to him, look, do you want the good news or the bad news? And he goes, well, look, just tell me, give me both. Like, I don't really care what order. And I said, look, the good news is they can do exactly the same plans as what I've done. They absolutely can. I can't sell anything that they can't sell. And I said, the bad news is they can do all the same plans that I can do. I can't sell anything they can't sell. It's exactly the same. The good news and the bad news is the same thing. So the good news is, regardless of whether you go with me or them, you can get this deal that I've presented to you, right? You can. It's available. The bad news is why they didn't present that to you. And I pretty much went through this with him, and I said to him, look, I can explain it to you. You're probably not going to like it very much, especially because, you've been with these guys for a while, but I can explain to you exactly why they've done what they've done versus exactly why I've done what I've done. And he said, all right, let's go through it. So I drew up this table that I've got behind me, and basically when you're looking at re-signing your mobiles with your existing provider, it doesn't happen as much if you're changing providers. It's not as bad, but particularly when you're looking at re-signing your mobiles with your existing provider, and this guy had, I think, about 15 or 16 services from memory. It was about 12 months ago, but he had about 15 or 16 services. And when you're looking at staying with the existing provider, this sort of stuff really does come into play. So there's basically 3 different options you've got. Now, option 1 is a tech fund plan. Now, to explain what a tech fund is for those that don't understand it, a tech fund plan is, say you've got 15 services like this guy did, right? Instead of the telco companies, the Telstra and Optus and what have you, saying, here's 15 iPhones or here's 15 Samsungs, here's your plans, away you go, have fun. They say, look, your existing phones seem to be working fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to set you up an account, and we're going to put $5,000 in there, or $6,000 or $10,000 or whatever the figure is. And every time that you need to buy a new phone over the next 2 years, you just dig down into that account and we'll send you the phone and it'll just come out. It does work for some people. I'm very negative against tech fund plans, and I've done another video which I'll link below and explains why I'm against them, because for me there's no value. It locks you into a long-term contract. You have to buy the hardware from the provider, whoever you're with. It locks you in for that contract term, and you're buying the hardware at rec retail price, full rec retail. So if one of the stores has a sale on Samsung handsets and you just want to go and buy a bunch of Samsung handsets, you can't get that out of the tech fund. It's stuck. You're buying full retail price for the life of the contract. And if you, for whatever reason, and it happens a lot, I've seen it plenty of times, where people will lose track of when their contract's up. I mean, I guarantee you there's plenty of people watching this video right now that have no idea when their contract expires. Absolutely none. So, you lose track of when your contract expires, and if you haven't used your tech fund by the end of the contract, it's gone, right? So there's a few reasons why I don't like the tech fund plans, but the next one is 24-month SIM-only plans. And again, I've done another video on this, and I'll link it below for that one as well. But 24-month SIM-only plans, same sort of thing as tech funds. You don't get an account of money to use, but what you do is you get locked into a contract term, and you get locked into that term for the next 2 years, and it's very, very difficult to get out or change or do anything in there. It's pretty much just stuck on that for that time. And the third option is the no contract SIM only plans, and they're typically the sort of plans that you see online with most of the carriers. If you look at, say, the big three, Telstra, Optus and Vodafone, pretty much when you go onto their website, the majority of the plans that you're going to see on there are the no contract SIM only plans. And you can add phones to it and do this and that, but the actual plans you look at to start with are typically going to be those SIM only plans. So this was what I drew up for him, and I said, look, let's go through it. So there's two different things that it's, and again, going back to last week's video, which was all about the intent of the salesperson, you just need to understand what the intent of that salesperson is to understand why they've provided you the offer that they've provided you. Is it they just want to max out the deal value? Is it that they want to build a relationship? Is it whatever it is, right? Have a look at that. So have a look at that video as well. I'll put that below. But typically there's two different things that a salesperson will look at. And I've been a salesperson for 20 odd years in telco, so I understand this backwards, and I've had sales targets and everything, and even now these sort of things, I see it play out all the time. So it hasn't changed in 20 years, and it probably never will. But basically you've got the three different plan options here, and you've got, does it count towards the sales target, and does it pay commission, right? They're the two things that salespeople typically care about. Will it count towards my sales target? And will I get paid for doing this? Anything outside of that, they don't really care, right? So we went through it. Now, basically what I said to him, look, if you're an existing client with whichever provider and you sign on for another 2 years on a tech fund plan, it does count towards your target, and you will get paid commission to, as a salesperson, to make that sale. Or it will go towards your bonuses or what have you, but it certainly counts, right? 24-month contract, same thing. It absolutely counts towards your target, and it absolutely pays commission, 100%. Now, the SIM only no contract plans does not count towards the sales target and doesn't pay a cent in commission most of the time. Sometimes it will a little bit, very small amount, but most of the time it doesn't pay commission. So you can see pretty much straight away, and I've said to him, look, have a guess. For those of you watching this, and comment below, tell me what your guess is. Have a guess which one that I have actually offered them. Which one? That was the best one for them. Absolutely was the best one for them. And that was why he was so confused, right? He was confused as to why is the price so much cheaper than what these guys have offered me, because these guys have offered him these sort of things where either the price is more expensive, in his case the price was more expensive, and that was his main thing he was looking at, was he wanted to reduce the cost, and they were substantially more expensive. But it's either going to lock you into a contract, it's going to have a much higher cost, or both, right? And so that's what he was looking at. So I drew this table out for him, and I said, look, this is quite clearly, this is the one that I've offered you, right? This is the one that's actually going to suit you. These guys have offered you something that is obviously not necessarily the best for you, but is actually going to count towards their target, is actually going to pay them a commission. So, you need to make the decision for yourself. Who do you feel that the salesperson that you're dealing with is looking after? Are they looking after you, or are they looking after them? Right? What is their intent? What is their focus? And who are they prioritizing in this relationship? And that right there, I've had this discussion with a bunch of clients, and it plays out the same way every time. As I say, I see this pretty well on a weekly basis, where a salesperson has gone in trying to sign up their existing client for another contract, but they're always seem to be providing something, or the overwhelming majority, let's say, are providing something that is actually going to go towards their sales targets and pay them commissions, not necessarily something that is actually going to be putting the client's needs before their own. So look, feel free to put any comments below. I will put a link to the couple of videos that I've done over the last couple of weeks around intent and salesperson's focus and what have you. But I just wanted to go through this because this seems to be a big one at the moment, where people are getting stuck. They're recontracting their mobile services, and they're coming to me after the fact and saying, look, I've just signed this contract, what do you think? And I look at it and go, well, I wish you'd come to me 2 weeks ago and you wouldn't be stuck in a 2-year contract, right? So have a look at it for yourself, but just be aware of if you are looking at re-signing a contract with your existing provider or onto a new plan with your existing provider, just be aware of these 3 different plan options. So if you're aware of them, then at least you know if they only come to you and give you these 2 options, you can go, well, hang on, where's this option? Why haven't you given me this option? This option will work, right? Why have you not given me this option? At least if you've got all 3 options and you still decide to go with one of those 2, fine, more power to you that you feel like that's going to be the best deal for you. Absolutely go with it, and hopefully it all works out, right? At the very least, make sure that if this one isn't in there as an option, there's something wrong, and you know that they're trying to railroad you onto something that is going to hit their targets and pay their commission, okay? Always make sure this one is in there, always, without fail, right? And I've got large clients that this still works out as the best option for them. So definitely make sure that that's in there. But look, any questions, any comments, chuck them down below. I will reply to the comments, or whether it's here or Facebook or LinkedIn, feel free to comment. Subscribe to the channel if you can, and click the little bell. You'll get notification every time a new video goes up. And feel free to share this out if you do have anybody else in business that you feel like they could derive some value from this, and make sure that they're not getting railroaded onto something that they shouldn't be in as well. So feel free to share that out there, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. Cheers.